Nobody told me YouTube would be this complicated. And for the longest time, that was my problem. Because I genuinely believed that growing on YouTube was simple. Go viral with trending topics, optimize your thumbnails, keep your viewers engaged. Easy, right? But the truth is, growing on YouTube is complicated. And the advice you've been trusting so deeply could be the very thing keeping you from growing. So maybe the answer isn't doing it alone. Maybe we just need the right person to show us how. And conveniently enough, YouTube is full of people who claim to have exactly the answers we're looking for. These people are known as the YouTube gurus. They usually have big channels with millions of fans, and these channels cover everything from YouTube strategies to algorithm hacks. They have it all. And when you watch their videos, it's hard not to trust them. But when you look closely, you start noticing a pattern. The advice is never quite complete, the strategy is never quite specific, and somehow the solution to all your problems is always conveniently available for purchase. And the advice itself, you've heard it 1,000 times before. The same message, repackaged, republished, and sent back to you like it's brand new. And the more you notice it, the more you realize something uncomfortable. These people aren't your allies, they never were. Don't fear a foe who attacks you, but fear the friend who embraces you with a hidden agenda. These YouTube gurus might seem like they have your best interests at heart, but underneath that friendly exterior is nothing but a leech. They feed off your suffering, but don't worry, they have just the thing to fix it. A $1,000 course on how to not suck at YouTube. And sure, you could defend them. They give free advice at least, but that empathy will be your own undoing. Because the advice they give is often outdated, misleading, and generic. Advice that every guru has regurgitated a million times over. For example, so many gurus tell you to post shorts, claiming they're essentially free views and subscribers. But they always fail to mention that short views and long form views are two completely separate audiences, and these free views and subscribers are actually going to harm you in the long term. Unfortunately, at the start of my YouTube journey, I was still naive. I was making generic Marvel Rivals content, but I had absolutely no clue what I was doing. YouTube just felt so intimidating. I had no clue what I was doing, and I just needed someone who could point me in the right direction. So I started watching hundreds of beginner strategies, algorithm hacks, and how to go viral videos. And somewhere along the way, something clicked, or at least I thought it did. I became convinced that I figured out the formula, that success wasn't just possible, it was basically guaranteed. I genuinely believed I was already ahead of every other beginner creator out there. Not because of my content, but because of what I knew. But that's the thing about false confidence. It doesn't make you better, it just makes you blind. And too much worthless knowledge in the hands of a fool is often destructive. Don't worry though, life has a way of humbling even the most prideful of fools. But unfortunately, I am that fool. My first video was a Marvel Rivals commentary, and I was convinced it was going to go viral. I had spent hours on the edit, made sure the title was right, made sure the thumbnail was eye-catching. I'd done everything the gurus told me to do. So in my mind I thought, how could I fail? But I did, and that quiet confident feeling I had going was replaced by something I wasn't prepared for: resentment. But I buried it, and I kept pushing anyway. And as I kept posting, my frustration and disappointment began to grow. After every video, I'd lay in bed and tear myself apart. Not just my content, but me. I genuinely started to hate myself for failing. Isn't YouTube supposed to be easy? I had all this knowledge, so how was I still failing? But all of that knowledge was actually what was holding me back. I'd become so arrogant that I didn't approach YouTube with the dedication or mindset it truly required. And worst of all, the knowledge I had accumulated made me feel more confused than ever. I'd read the book on building a house, but that didn't mean I could actually build one. And a house built on the wrong foundation doesn't just struggle, it collapses. After posting my fifth video, I started to truly resent my content. I hated every single one of them, but I didn't know what to do. All the knowledge I gathered felt more like a curse than a gift because I couldn't apply it. Every time I tried to plan a video, the strategies would pile up on top of each other and leave me paralyzed with confusion. Making videos became almost impossible, and I knew something had to change, or I would have to quit. And I really was on the verge of quitting. I nearly did, but something inside of me wasn't ready to just give up. One night, after another video had underperformed, I found myself watching yet another guru video. I was frustrated, resentful, and barely even paying attention. But then something caught my ear. I'd heard this exact advice before, word for word. And then it hit me. I didn't just heard it before. I'd heard it 100 times before, from 100 different people. And in that moment I realized, these gurus aren't giving me answers. They're just recycling the same empty advice and dressing it up as wisdom. And something about that realization hit differently. In that moment, I felt free. For the first time, I understood that my failures weren't because I wasn't cut out for YouTube. They were because I'd been chaining myself to someone else's formula all along. After that realization, I made a vow to myself. I would never again place my trust in people who profit from my suffering. I decided to humble myself and start treating YouTube with the respect it deserves, as something complicated and difficult. And for the first time in a long time, I felt at peace. I no longer resented my videos, and I no longer resented myself. I was tired of misleading myself. I was tired of all these lies. And if I wanted anything to change, I had to be honest with myself and face the truth. With this new mental clarity and genuine hope for the future, I took some time to develop my own personalized YouTube strategy. And it's a simple one. Every single week, I focus on improving one thing, whether that's my voiceover delivery or my color grading. No guru hacks, no algorithm tricks, just deliberate and honest improvement, week after week, until my videos are something I'm truly proud of. Because one day when I do find my audience, I want them to be welcomed into a space where the quality speaks for itself. And as a result of everything I've been through, I've become more understanding towards YouTube, towards the process, and towards myself. I don't lay in bed and tear myself apart anymore. When a video fails, I accept it and learn from it, and I get back to work. I find a sense of peace within myself. I've accepted my past mistakes, and instead of dreading the next video, I now look forward to it. Because every week is another chance to make something I'm truly proud of. And that's enough motivation for me. YouTube is really complicated, and you shouldn't underestimate it, because it will humble you. But with a realistic and clear mind, you can weather any storm that comes your way. Growth is not guaranteed, it never was. But with deliberate effort and a mindset humble enough to learn from every failure, you give yourself a fighting chance that most creators never do. And stop following someone else's map. Find your own path, trust your own instincts, and figure out what works for you. Because at the end of the day, nobody knows your journey better than you do.